Turtle Medicine and Attachment Psychology, a story in 3 parts. Part 1. I recently experienced overwhelming, bouncing, ecstatic puppy love with another, who puppied me right back, until she didn't. Shape-shifted into a turtle, she did, and closed up tight. I bounced and pleaded, whined and cried, howled long and low, putting all my soul into it. But this turtle had no time for these puppy games and remained tightly a turtle. So I walked away, leaving her to her turtleness, wondering how and why I had lost my friend. This is what I learned. When we are infants, I am certain this starts long before infancy, but that is another story. The bond we develop with our primary caregivers determines our ability to move confidently in the world. When a mother or father demonstrates consistent affection and effective care of this being who is so very dependent on them, it allows this child to develop her own sense of self-care and trust over time. Given the variance of our culture's current parenting skills, about half of us now exit childhood with what is considered a secure attachment style. The other half primarily learned one or both of the insecure attachment styles, now termed anxious attached and love avoidant. There are lots of books out there that will describe these attachment styles. These are 2 of my favorites. Notice that these are not parenting books. This pattern learned in infancy is most definitely not the end of the story. The effects of primary bonding lurk in our every interaction and relationship throughout our adulthood, affecting the choices we make and the relationships we are attracted to. Ever wonder why you are always going for the wrong kind of guy, or why every woman you get close to becomes clingy and dependent, or metamorphoses into a control freak? This is our attachment style at work. While they sure make life trickier, insecure attachments are not considered pathological. They are the acquired adaptation to our childhood circumstances and an opportunity to work through them. There is no distinct line identifying one as securely or insecurely attached, and there are websites designed to help you assess your position in the spectrum. We are all affected by the many factors and flow of our lives, and will find ourselves more or less triggered by our habitual responses. Notice, and this is important, that it is our own habit pattern, not the other person we are in relationship with, that causes these triggers. A person operating from a secure foundation of attachment will likely not have the same reaction to or even recognition of behavioral adaptations demonstrated by someone insecurely attached. The people we are attracted to as friends or potential partners, especially those who arrive in our lives with a flush of excitement, are here to help us work through the bonding issues we were born into. There are many practices that will help us work through these issues. Each can find their own, but any truly effective strategy must contain the following 2 elements. First, non-judgmental self-observation. And second, the ability to witness habitual impulse without reacting. So in more practical terms, if we are looking for a friend or a partner who has the capacity to participate fully in an interdependent and supportive relationship, we must resist, patiently observing, the urge to chase the allure of someone who is either unavailable or for whatever reason, uninterested. As usual, I recommend meditation. Part 2. A friend recently explained to me about her 2 animal spirit totems, which had guided the early part of her life. One was Turtle, armored and cautious. At the first sign of danger, Turtle tucked in and became impervious to the world. The other was Hawk. If anyone tried to pry open Turtle's shell, Hawk was there to defend and protect. She would mercilessly attack any intruder. Part 3, Turtle Medicine. I was returning home from a long road trip with my 3 teenage sons. My newly minted 16-year-old driver at the wheel of our minivan. Warm, full belly. Find the sandy place for the eggs. They are ready. Out of the pond, up the bank, across this wide, flat, hard, hot. Suddenly I looked up to see us flying over what appeared to be a painted turtle, clutching the asphalt for all it was worth. Noise, rush, wind, danger, step. Noise, rush, wind, danger, step. It took me a long 30 seconds to recognize who we had passed, and that I wanted to go back on the slight chance of a rescue. It took several minutes longer for me to retain the wheel, turn the car around amid honking and irritation, and return to the site of the turtle. 6 more cars had passed over the turtle during this time on our busy stretch of road. Noise, rush, wind, caught, flipped, spinning, out of control. By the time I got back to Turtle, she had been flipped on her back by a passing vehicle. She was scrunched tightly in her shell, which bore 2 short gouges, but was miraculously intact. She had survived her traumatic experience with apparently little effect. Upside down, tucking tight, vulnerable, animal coming, danger, lifted, caught, peeing, fear. I brought Turtle back to the van and rested her, still upside down because I didn't want her to come out and start walking around, on my lap as we discussed her options. I didn't know which way she was headed across the road, so I didn't want to replace her in the same dangerous situation. I also didn't want to move her far from her home and life pattern. Ultimately, we drove on about 10 miles to the small town of Hinckley, Wisconsin, which hosted a beautiful mill pond positioned well off the main highway. As I drove, Lily reached out a single claw in experimentation, otherwise remaining fully ensconced. When I turned Lily right side up to get a good look at her, a surprising amount of urine poured from her shell, anointing me and bathing the interior of my steering column. Feeling proud of my heroism, delighted with her success, and dripping slightly, I set her on the edge of her new home. She hissed her gratitude from deep inside her shell. Fear, danger, out of control, fear, danger. Sun, sand, quiet, water, slow, alone. It was only from the car 30 feet away that we finally saw Lily very slowly extend from her shell and ease herself seamlessly into the water.